This toxicity is based upon one guy. And LeBron is a good father, is a good parent, but he's a bad basketball parent because he's making people elevate his kid to a level that his skill is not close to being at. This is about LeBron, who said, I want to play with my son. I want him to be in the NBA. And he said it, and the Lakers snapped their finger and made it happen. So let's talk about the reality. Reality is, no matter what Rich Paul said, it was complete BS. No one else was drafting Bronny, not because they were scared of him not playing or trying to recruit LeBron James, because he's not an NBA prospect.
Doug Gottlieb goes off on LeBron James for being a bad basketball parent. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
He wasn't one of the 5, maybe even 10 best players in his high school league in the Mission League. You're like, no, yeah. He's just not, he ain't that guy. I mean, remember, the year that he played at Sierra Canyon, he wasn't Sierra Canyon's best player. In their league, there's a school called Sherman Oaks, Notre Dame. It is a 5-minute drive from where the boys are broadcasting from in Sherman Oaks. On that team, they had Dusty Stromer, went to Gonzaga. He's better. Caleb Foster starts at Duke. He's better. Jared McCain, who started at Duke and is now in the NBA. That was on one team who beat Sierra Canyon 4 times. And there was never a game in which there was never a game in high school that he had 30.
Unfortunately, you can't keep it real with Bronny. If you say anything that's real constructive criticism, keeping it real from a stat perspective and your opinion, you're known as a Bronny James hater, and you'll be canceled by Clutch Sports. So even though Doug Gottlieb, he's critical of Bronny, critical of LeBron, he's speaking his truth based off the stats and what he's been seeing. He played basketball in high school and college. He's currently a coach. He's been covering sports for many years, so he knows what's going on as far as, does this player have that it factor? Are they going to be a decent to very good NBA player? And right now, Bronny, he plays good in the Summer League and G League, but that's amongst the competition that, people aren't really making the NBA from the G League and Summer League. I want to see Bronny James play good against NBA competition. So going into his second year, is he going to be a rotational piece for the Lakers? That's going to be a huge question. They acquired Marcus Smart. They have Austin Reeves. They have a lot of people from the guard position. Is Bronny James going to be able to move up and play 15 to 20 minutes per night? So we're going to see what happens with Bronny this upcoming season, but shout out to Doug Gottlieb for keeping it real.
Let alone 25. And while you sit there and go like, well, you're judging too harshly. Like, am I? Have you ever heard of a guard being a top prospect? Like, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was better than Bronny James in high school. Okay? But I had a 44-point game. I averaged 20 and 10. I had a 30 and 19 game. Like, there's going to be somebody where it's going to be some game where you go off, right? Never happened.
Yeah, Bronny ain't that. He ain't
So he goes
player.
to USC, and he has that really scary moment where his heart stopped. And frankly, just for him to be alive is amazing, let alone come back and play. That's great. But the team was awful. When he started, they weren't good. The one game he did break out and had, I think, like 20 points was a 20-point loss to Oregon State, who was the worst team in the league or one of the worst teams in the league. Like, they weren't good. And, again, if you're a draft pick, it's got to be something there, and just didn't see it.
Yeah, again, Bronny, he's not really going to make a team better. He's going to play good versus lower competition and garbage minutes. So that one game at USC when he had 20 points and a 20-point loss, again, that's where Bronny is trending. It looks like the pressure is too much and he can only play if there's no pressure. But to be an NBA player, there's got to be a level of pressure and you got to rise, above all of that. So right now from what we're seeing with Bronny, he's just a great G League player and a solid Summer League player. But when he goes on the NBA floor, he gets nervous. So it started trending in that direction in high school and college, and it's playing out in his NBA career so far. So without LeBron James, Bronny James wouldn't be in the NBA.
LeBron's best friend, high school teammate, is the head coach of Duquesne this year. I thought that was a perfect fit. Go to Duquesne, build up your game, establish yourself as an alpha, learn how to be a dominant player at the college level, stay there a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then go and try and be a professional. Instead, LeBron tweeted out, hey, my son's better than half the guys we're playing against in the league.
Yeah, Bronny should be in college right now. Yeah, he could have transferred to a lower level college team, became the man of that team, the main player, playing 40 plus minutes, however minutes he can max out in college. That's where he should be right now. But by LeBron James pretty much being selfish, wanting to play with his son before he retires, getting him in the league how he did, it really hindered Bronny James. It made him take a few steps back in his basketball development. So imagine what Bronny did during the G League and Summer League. He should be in college right now putting up some crazy numbers. But again, LeBron had to do what he had to do for his own legacy.
None of it has benefited Bronny. It's become a joke. Like you literally did like a Make-A-Wish kid for him, and you played him in the first game for 2 minutes. And then he scored 2 points in another kind of blowout, and you just kind of threw him into the game in the last 4 minutes of a game. Like, you don't develop that way. That's not how it works.
No, you got to play
You
real
can't
minutes.
only play home games. What, he can't get on a United flight? Why? Why? What are we doing here? You know, and if it's a question of travel, well, LeBron, fire up the G5 and fly him to wherever he's got to go. Make him at practice. But he's only going to play home games? Huh?
Yeah, the Bronny James development is terrible. What they were doing early in his NBA career, only playing certain games, only playing in garbage minutes. That first game he played, just the whole vibe and setting they were trying to make, it was really for the LeBron James documentary. So by LeBron being selfish, it really hurt Bronny James. Again, Bronny should be in college right now, balling out. The steps he made and the development he made in the G League and Summer League, again, he should be a great college basketball prospect right now, but he's struggling to stay in the NBA.
That doesn't make any sense. There's only like 30 G League games anyway. You're only going to play half of them? And then there's the how much do you actually play him, because you got to develop some of the other young players on the roster. Figure out what else you have. How do you build on his development if he's going to play every other game or miss 2 games here, miss 2 games there, not be with the team?
Ain't happening.
The whole thing has been, as we told you, this is about LeBron. This is about LeBron, who said, I want to play with my son. I want him to be in the NBA. And he said it, and the Lakers snapped their finger and made it happen. So let's talk about the reality. Reality is, no matter what Rich Paul said, it was complete BS. No one else was drafting Bronny, not because they were scared of him not playing or trying to recruit LeBron James, because he's not an NBA prospect.
Yeah, I think it's obvious no team was really, trying to jump the line to draft Bronny James. It was all a manipulation tactic by Rich Paul and Clutch Sports. So they did what they had to do. They found a way to get Bronny on the Lakers. But again, no team wanted Bronny James.
I have a very close friend who is a scout on a high-level NBA team who's tracked Bronny James for the entirety of his career. Go back and look. High school, AAU, college. There is no point in which he is elite at anything he does. And at his size, you got to be elite shooting and defensively. He's not. And all this does is expose it as it was just they were trying to please LeBron, which you could do, and I actually have no problem with. You waste a draft pick, you give him a 4-year guaranteed contract like he's a real NBA player, you put him out there the first game of the season. No one does that. So what it does is it strikes at the credibility of your coach who said, we love Bronny. Remember, this is a coach in J.J. Redick who's trying to earn credibility in the NBA. And what did he say? He earned this. No, he didn't. How?
Yeah, again, J.J. Redick, he had no choice but to kind of go along with this. That's the only way he was going to keep his job and get hired. He had to kind of co-sign Bronny, but there could have been other players that they may have wanted to draft instead of Bronny. But by it being the 55th pick, no one really thought anything of it. But it did take some of the credibility away from J.J. and the Lakers.
By being born with the name James on the back of his chest, on the back of his shirt. So it hurts your coach's credibility, hurts your GM's credibility, hurts your best player's credibility, hurts your ability to build a team, because especially in training camp and in those first couple of weeks, like, you can't talk about LeBron when Bronny's around. You can't beat yourself when you're like, there's a kid over here who's the best player's son. Like, we can't just be ourselves.
Real talk.
And now in the G League, how do you develop him? How do you build a team? How do you function? And it shouldn't come as a surprise. Go back and look. His last team at Sierra Canyon, an abject disaster. Right? Go and look at USC last year. The team, abject disaster. Essentially, both coaches, Andy Enfield wasn't fired, but it's not like they fought him over going to SMU. Sierra Canyon changed coaches. Same thing. Like, this toxicity is based upon one guy. And LeBron is a good father, is a good parent, but he's a bad basketball parent.
Yeah, again, LeBron, he only did this for his legacy. I think it's obvious. No one's going to dispute that. No one's saying that he's a bad parent in general, but as far as a bad basketball parent, that holds some merit. So if Bronny James doesn't succeed in basketball, LeBron does have some blame, but Bronny ultimately isn't an NBA-ready player. He's good amongst lower-level competition, but that's not going to cut it in the NBA. So unless he has a great second season, Bronny James, he's going to be nowhere to be found after that 4-year contract. So it is what it is. LeBron did what he had to do, but he did hurt Bronny in the long run.